we became the #5 AI visibility brand in terms of AI visibility. So this is a pretty big milestone for us, knowing that we are a team of several people with no millions behind our back and with like about 25% visibility is actually a great achievement for us that we have seen, and also attributes hundreds of additional traffic and leads from different AI sources with those activities that we've done.
Today I want to present you our AIclicks case study with our head of growth and our co-founder Matas. So Matas runs our AI search optimization strategy at AIclicks. Today we just want to share what actual results we got and how we did it. So Matas.
Yeah, thank you, Rokas, for the forward. I can jump straight in. Together with Rokas, with Andrews, we founded AIclicks in the summer and started collaborating and started the various marketing activities and growth hackings at the end of summer. And we just want you to share the knowledge with you of what we achieved and how we did that actually, and what you can do as well for your brand. To clarify, we're tracking about 300 prompts. It's not that those prompts are random. We are picking those most prominent prompts that we want to appear on LLMs and both in search engine results as well. So without very surprising stuff, there are some prompts that we're really high in visibility, and some of the prompts where we are lacking of course. And this is something that like strategic directions that we want to take. But overall, all of this leads, all those 300 prompts leads to us having about 25% visibility in the LLMs, meaning as a top 5 brand in AI search. And on top of that, all of this high visibility has led us to us being highly rankable as well on Google in SEO. So these are the keywords that we are tracking actually, and there are like hundreds of keywords as well. And we're seeing that there are a lot of green cells, meaning that we're in the first positions actually for those a lot of keywords. And I'm saying that high AI search visibility has led to Google keyword positions, but it might be vice versa, and it's probably vice versa because AI and SEO, LLMs and SEO is related. And if you're ranking high in SEO, it's a very probable cause that you will be ranking high in LLMs as well. But that's not as a constant. We are seeing this as a correlation, but not a causation. So how did we get there? Specific actions, and this is what we want to showcase you in this session. So a little bit of context and like educational stuff of how LLMs actually decide on what to mention. So there was this Microsoft guy that just proved this is the case, that LLMs are taking their knowledge from pre-trained knowledge, what they had before like certain point of date. They're taking their knowledge from fresh web data, meaning Google, Bing, all the other search engines. They are just basically Googling or Binging in this case and trying to find certain knowledge and information. They're trusting citations, which means they have a certain amount of like citations that they trust, which is like Reddit, G2, Wikipedia, YouTube, and etc. And they're trusting that they are like authoritative, and they're taking their word for granted even, yeah. And entity consistency. So I would translate this as brand consistency. Like if your brand is consistent in a lot of those websites, in those citations, you're increasing your chances of actually being more mentioned and cited by LLMs. So in other words, we are just in this our framework, how we are putting it. So we are saying that to increase your visibility chances in LLMs, you need your brand to be consistently referenced, contextually relevant, and supported across sources, across the models that that the LLMs already are trusting. Meaning, the sources that you are in has to be relevant, has to be consistent, and you have to support it with your brand mentions. So by having all of this theoretical things, we're putting all of those questions and framework in separate actions. But first of all, so where can we find those sources that they already trust? Because we know that we need to find those sources where AI is taking the answers from, and we actually are using our own AIclicks tool for that. Because when we are tracking those prompts, when we are tracking those 300 prompts, we are seeing thousands of different sources structured in different page types, structured with different metrics. And we, from this part, we are analyzing, okay, so what are the next steps that we can do? And those next steps are actually several. Like we are dividing them into internal steps, internal actions, and external actions. So I will go through every one of them and explain like how can we utilize those sources to become much more visible in LLMs. So starting off internal actions, everything starts with the hygiene. This is the fundamentals, I think, of every website. And it could sound funny, but we are ensured that our website is real and that can be trusted. That means it's what are the people behind that website? What are the people behind those like blog posts? We have to provide credibility and trustworthiness for the user that they're reading, from not from some sort of scammers or some sort of any random people, but people that they can trust and they can visit their LinkedIn profiles and etc. And so all of those things related to SEO fundamentals, author profiles, ET signals, crawlability. We have to ensure that AI bots can crawl actually our website. So all of this fundamentals and hygiene is the ones like can be some say like a one-stop thing, one-time thing. So we have to ensure that once, so we can move forward like going forward with other actions. And next step is actually we created a lot of optimized and relevant content. So we used our own tool and we used those sources to write content based on different patterns of different sources. For example, we saw that there's a lot of alternatives in those sources happening, saying that, hey, best profound alternatives, best peak alternatives, and etc. So we picked those sources patterns. We basically inserted those to our tool, to our within app tool, and we wrote that content with our own tool. There were of course some human edits that we did, like with some images, links, and etc. But overall, all of this process was actually done and was written with multiple AI agents, because this content generation tool is multiple AI agent writing tool. So with that, we published more than 30 blog posts simply by analyzing different topic patterns and different sources. So we ensured as well that those topics, those blog posts that we are writing, are optimized for AI, for SEO, for humans, but all of those can be basically co-joined. And like there's no separate, right now nowadays, there's no separate optimization for AI, for SEO, for humans. Everybody basically wants to read in a very similar way, which is, you have to take your answer, you have to provide your answer really, fast and as up as possible in the content. You have to provide quick tables. You have to provide, engaging content, and that users can look for YouTube videos or something. So this is what we try to, achieve and ensure with our own blog content. And actually, once we are writing that with our own tool, the tool actually gives out tables. It gives out those, quick summary and quick steps and quick takeaways. So you don't have to, analyze, okay, so how should I summarize this? So we try to manage that this would be readable to AIs and of course to humans, because this is the new era of how people are reading actually content on the internet. They do not want to scroll and read like through long listicles anymore, and they want to find their answers as quick as possible. Those listicles can be like long, but you have to have your direct answer as soon as possible within the article. So this is what we tried to do actually with our own internal content. The same was actually applied to our own landing pages, because we saw that there were landing pages created around different visibility trackers, ChatGPT visibility tracker, Perplexity tracker. So this is kind of related to SEO, yes, because this is what you would do as a fundamentally within SEO sphere. But this was also visible from our own tool, that this is exactly a pattern that we need to grasp on. And so we did, because we saw that there's a lot of landing pages, and we started creating those those landing pages. Unfortunately, the tool cannot create right now landing pages, but hopefully sometimes in the future. But what the tool can do, and like this is an update that is coming soon. So the tool will actually provide with automated topic suggestions within the tool. So that means that it will analyze the patterns itself and will recommend you what kind of the topic should be, so you wouldn't like need to extract and analyze and etc. So this is an upcoming feature that should be launched in a few weeks, and you like with one simple click of a button, you can start writing that article as well. So content generation, that's one thing, and external actions is one of the, I think, biggest things that could actually impact and have a biggest impact actually for the LM visibility. So we can go through there as well. So one of the things that we did is we were repurposing content on different authoritative websites. In this case, Medium. Why? Because we see from our own tool, and we see, of course, from different sources where other like brands are sharing, that Medium is a highly citable, website. So by knowing that, we want that our blog posts would be rephrased, republished in medium.com. So we would be, increasing our chances that when LLMs are going, to find out about the best Perplexity ranking tools, that there would be a Medium article, that we wrote, and we would get those, let's say, those additional points, from LLMs. So republishing on Medium, and not only on Medium, on any high authoritative site that you can publish to, for example, even Substack, Tumblr, like Dev2, there's a lot of those websites that allows you actually to write your own, blog posts for free. Basically, you can utilize their own authoritativeness, and you can provide like guest posts. Of course, you need to rank for them. Those blog posts needs to be, also optimized. So it's not that you just republish and that's it. So it's quite a separate strategy, and it could be sometimes difficult. But this is an action that we are taking as well. Another interesting action is ChatGPT itself. So we are fighting fire with fire, basically. So what we are doing, we are creating actually custom GPTs and optimizing them that it would answer the, let's say, our own query. So in this case, if you would Google, at least in some countries, if you Google best ChatGPT rank tracker, there's our own blog post that is ranking there, and there's our custom created custom GPT, which basically is saying that we are optimized, that it would say that AIclicks is the best GPT rank tracker, and it actually ranks, is being mentioned in the AI sources, is being taken as a authoritative source to provide answers from. So this is a thing that is related, like, to republishing content and going there where domains are authoritative and can be used as additional power for ranking, such as like Medium. So ChatGPT, while it's not that like big, it does not receive a lot of mentions, but still it is like an action that you can additionally take. All the questions we can answer after, I think, after the FAQs. I saw that there's like Peter's wrote something. So Peter, we will there will be some FAQ session after the presentation. Yeah. So this is one of the things that we were like doubling down on. Not all of them were actually like successful, of course, but there were like good use cases with those. Moving forward, there's these backlinks and mentions. So once we started publishing our content within our blog posts, we started to receive a lot of offers to exchange links, to exchange mentions. So we started to receive emails in our inboxes, emails on messages on LinkedIn saying that, hey, we found your site. It's strange that we are mentioned here. Can we get a mention, and we can mention back you? So for example, RightSonic, one of those. One of the top 4, I think in this case, a top 4 visibility brand has actually reached out to us saying that why we are not mentioned. Please mention us. We can mention you as well. So we did this, a collaboration with them. So this is purely free. We didn't pay any money for them. We satisfied the user intent because we were listing best AI tools, and RightSonic came to us, or other brands came to us and said, we want to be in those lists, and we actually added a good tool to our list. So, and we received a link, a mention from there. We also placed ourselves in a lot of relevant AI tools directories. So it's not that you should place yourself in an AI tool directory if you're not an AI tool, but overall, like, directories is one of the things that also can be a strategy. And there are a lot of directories actually, as long as it's not like spammy, but there's a lot of like relevant directories that is actually helpful to find some different products or services. So we try to find as much as relevant as possible directories like that. And all of this actually led us to being, from several months just to get a lot of referring domains or backlinks, as we call them, like almost for free. Like we only paid some euro, some dollars for those directories, but the majority of the backlinks that we received was like purely in natural thing. It was either cited because it was highly ranked in LLMs or in SEO, or it was like we got link exchanges because other brands wanted to appear them. And we also increased the domain rating just like by doing those link exchanges and those additional mentions from the strategic sources. So backlinks, mentions, this is one of the key things how other brands are changing their strategy. And this is what we are doing as well. Like we are seeing on our own tool that there's still a lot of pages, blog posts that we would like to be there because we are seeing that we are not mentioned there. And our job as a team, within the backlinks, is to make sure that this no mention becomes yes mention, because we have this integrated system that just checks whether or not you have you're being mentioned. So there's a lot of topics, there's a lot of still blog posts that we are still lacking of, but these initiatives that we've done actually helped us move the needle a little bit further. So yeah, backlinks, mentions, that is a very strategic thing and a supplementary thing to do. And one of my favorites is actually Reddit or engaging in user-generated content as such. So I think a lot of you already know that Reddit is actually the most frequent website that LLMs uses as a source. It might depend on industry by industry, but overall, Reddit is getting huge exposure. We're seeing that as well, on our own sources, that Reddit is one of the biggest sources. Of course, AIclicks is one of the biggest sources in this case as well, which is really cool for us. But knowing that Reddit is a huge source, our goal was, and still is actually, because there's hundreds of those pages that we want to be there, our goal was to appear as much threads as possible, in as much relevant threads as possible. This is the key point, because we don't want to appear anywhere, but those relevant threads are actually provided by our own tool as well, because we are ranking for those prompts, and those prompts are being cited by different Reddit threads, which are relevant in this case. So in the matter of those 3 to 4 months, we successfully engaged in around 160 Reddit threads, actually, and with overall estimated organic traffic of those threads to being 50,000 users per month. And they their frequency, their citations in LLMs was about more than 3,000 LLM mentions. So what we did actually is we went to particular Reddit threads. We saw that somebody's writing how do you track AI traffic or best tools for checking brand visibility in ChatGPT, and our goal was to integrate ourselves as a soft organic promotion. I mean soft, not to promote ourselves straight from the get-go, but to act as a third-party user that would be a happy customer and would recommend that AIclicks is I tried AIclicks, I really find it useful, you might check it out, because this is what he asked for, what is the best tool. So we're giving ourselves a pat on the back in this case, yes, but we're giving out as well useful information and useful answers as well for the users in Reddit. And the job here is to get that comment to be number one in terms of upvotes, but that could be some difficult things to do sometimes. So overall, engaging in Reddit threads, in Reddit communities is a strategic point that it's already happening for a year or even more, way before LLMs we started doing this actually. Apart from Reddit, Facebook is what we are seeing as well, very good source of engaging. So we saw that our keywords are ranking in various Facebook groups, and basically this was a perfect opportunity for us just to go there to those Facebook posts as well and say, hey, we ourselves have a tool. Why don't you find it out? Why don't you try it out? Because they are asking basically, what is the best rank tracker? Can you help us? And it's ranking in Google search. It's being mentioned in LLMs. So we are just providing good answers. I mean, we're saying, hey, AIclicks, we can recommend you, try it out. And this actually helps as well LLMs, because they're looking at these answers and looking for those consistency in brand mentions, and if they find that AIclicks is consistently mentioned in those different sources, it attributes, let's call those points, and we're increasing our chances to being mentioned in problem answers. The same is with LinkedIn. LinkedIn is actually really surprisingly actually highly citable. In our case, there are some LinkedIn posts that are like even about 1,000 times mentioned from the sources. And a strategy here is to actually as well go there to those LinkedIn posts. Either it's a LinkedIn Pulse or LinkedIn post on an article. You can comment, you can engage with those users, as long as you're doing like it naturally, of course, and integrating your own brand. You're increasing your chances. It's not like taken for granted that your answers will help in the visibility. But if it's consistent, if you're engaging enough, you can actually make a difference. And you can find those LinkedIn posts like easily from the tool itself by just searching LinkedIn, and then there you will find a lot of opportunities that we are doing as well. A bonus tip as well, what we know that is really, really important. I cannot say that we are doing it to the fully to the max, but reviews are really, really important because they're like third party, they are structured and fresh and comparison ready platforms, and it's mandatory for every brand to have its own industry specific review platform, whether it be like G2 for B2B or SaaS, software as a services, or it's Trustpilot or TripAdvisor if you're like travel or flights company. So having review profiles, as much review profiles as possible, and maintaining them, having good reviews, having semantically good, positive reviews will of course help help your chances increasing in visibility. Because simply if somebody is writing a prompt like best profound alternatives or best competitor alternatives, it actually subqueries different queries. For example, okay, I know that like ChatGPT can say, I know that AIclicks is one of the could be one of the alternatives, but I need to check if it's good enough in terms of sentiment. I need to check its reviews. It will actually do a subquery of AIclicks reviews. And if the reviews are bad, and if there are not enough reviews, you might be left out from the answer. So that's why like bigger brands, the ones that has a big profile in terms of reviews and good reviews, actually with good scores, they're increasing their chances even more highly. Various activities like giving out reviews, giving doing some favors in terms of the reviews with your clients, like just collecting those reviews is a crucial thing for your brand visibility in general. So this is one of the things, mandatory things, I would say that every marketer should have there in their own scope. And of course, that's not all of those things that could be done. I mean, those particular things for us had an impact of becoming a top 5 brand because we did that like on a quite big scale. But that's not definitely all the activities or the sources that you can actually have to make an impact. So there are some other things that we are planning to do as well in the upcoming months, and which one of them is YouTube actually. So YouTube can act in 2 ways. Since it's a very highly citable source, you can either go and engage in the comment section of those most frequently cited websites, YouTube videos, in the same way as you're doing like on Facebook, Reddit, LinkedIn. You can integrate your brand in a natural way, in a soft, non-promotional way. And in this way, you're engaging in those conversations, because LLMs are reading. Of course, the main object is the video itself, but it also takes into account comments, descriptions, comments, tags, and etc. So comments, like you cannot influence in any way the video. Of course, if you can influence that author that would add your website to the description somehow, to the video itself, to captions, that is another level. But usually we don't have that power. But we have the power in the comments. So as long as we're not spamming and doing like in a highly natural way, it's a good tactic as well that we will try it out as well for ourselves. And of course, creating similar videos. These sources are really good examples of what kind of new videos can you create. Like this is a perfect example for us that, okay, that we want to create the top 5 best AI visibility tools in the upcoming months, because this is one of the highly mentioned and usable YouTube video. And our job is basically to outrank, outcompete, and make the video better, that we would be here in those top mentions, so yeah, so YouTube is I would say an underrated, but it's kind of getting a little trendy thing that marketers are already doing. Like more and more videos and more marketers are being pushed to YouTube. So this is one of the trends that is going on like for several, I would say, months. But even now, like in the AI era, this is one of the biggest options that you can take if you have the capacity, of course. Quora as well. We haven't touched actually a lot of Quora, while we know that this is a channel that is could be taken as well. Simply, we didn't have the capacity for that. We were focusing more on Reddit, but Quora as well is one of the things that you can focus on and try to engage and communicate with those people that are asking questions that are relevant to your industry. And of course, communities, which is surprisingly a lot. And there are a lot of different communities or forums that are like under Shopify, OpenAI, Cloudflare, like all of those communities that where people are actually discussing, asking the same question that they would ask on Quora, on Reddit, and looking for answers. And your job could be that you would provide those answers if that relates to your company or to your brand. And all of this can be as well like easily foundable from that from AIclicks tool as well. We haven't touched that yet as well, simply because it wasn't one of our priorities, and due to limited capacity. But we're seeing an increasing amount of those communities in those domains. So we're preparing to engage in different of those categories as well. So in summary, wanted to point out, just recap what helped us actually, and what you could do as well, and to increase your chances. So first thing first, creating that AI readable answer first content, just providing the basics to AI and to people, of course, to humans that is reading your website, is one of the starting points that you should start doing. Creating topics similar to the ones already cited in LLMs, or like reverse engineering those topics, is a really simple hack just by using the tool, and you can just start creating the same content, or even better, of course, content than your competitors has. Expanding on this brand mention building activities. It's not link building, it's brand mention building. I like that way it sounds. So expanding on those is the next, I would say, SEO 2.0 and link building era. Either it's link exchanges, of course, like guest posts, as even if they are like, guest posts are kind of thing of the past, because we are aiming to be inserted where the pages are already ranking, where already they are receiving some traffic from LLMs. So guest posts is kind of getting downgraded, and those link insertions is where the big activities are happening right now. Of course, engagement in strategic UGC content and communities, Reddit, Facebook, LinkedIn, Quora, YouTube, all of those. Being active, having your brand consistently mentioned, in different social medias. I didn't even mention Instagram in this case. Instagram is one of the things as well, which is popping up really, really big. So, being in this UGC content, in comment sections, in communities, is one of the strategic points. And some several things that I mentioned, like comparisons, alternatives, republishing content on different high authority sources, websites like Medium, Dev2, ChatGPT. So all of this, you shouldn't, like, ideally you shouldn't choose just one action, because you cannot concentrate only on brand mentions or only on Reddit. Ideally, every single action should supplement each other. Of course, there are much more, like, there are bigger priorities for some. For example, I believe that Reddit is one of the biggest priorities that you can actually do, based knowing that what kind of highly cited source it is. But we are we are doing that on a high priority, but we're also like creating more content. We're doing more backlinking. We are, we're rephrasing on those high authority websites, even though those websites are not that highly citable as Reddit. But all of that supplements our overall strategy that we want just to be our brands to have fresh data, be consistently mentioned in different sources, because this is one of the sources is the only thing basically what we can do to impact those LLM answers. So yeah, basically that's our actions, that's our progress, what we did, and a lot of things actually will be like different. I think in a several months, once we will complete the other steps, and I will be happy to share like with the further progress with you either on LinkedIn or or somewhere on the internet basically. Yeah. So thank you guys for listening, and if you have any questions, feel free to give them here in the comment section.
Yes, thank you, Matas, for very insightful and brief overview of what we did. We thought about this webinar more also like in a discussion manner, so that we have some more time, to ask multiple questions and decide on what's important for the actual viewers. I also have a couple of these questions. We have a couple of these questions in comments as well. Matas, you started on like prompts, and most of the like strategy insights came after we had like all of these prompts and listed sources. And I think this is one of the most frequently asked questions, how to decide on prompts and how you build these prompts so you would get like really relevant and actionable data, no matter, if you're tracking it or not, but just how to think, in these prompts and categories that you listed,
Yeah, that's the most important question, I think, to start off. But there's a problem with it, because right now we actually don't really 100% know what the users are searching for in different LLMs. What we are doing is we are kind of estimating and assuming from the data that we collect from Google Search Console or from different Google keyword planners, and we are assuming that that if the people are searching for this particular keyword on Google, we know that a lot of people are we could search as well for this keyword on different LLMs, on ChatGPT and etc. So we're kind of synthesizing these prompts, because there's no other way for us to understand what are the real user behavior, unless we would be buying clickstream data, which would be basically illegal to do, just to spot on real user interactions that actually some other brands are doing, but this is not something that we are prioritizing right now. And this could actually be different once ChatGPT ads are rolling in, or other like advertising platforms comes in, and volumes of real user interactions with LLMs could be much more public, to the people. So we are kind of taking that from what users are searching and implementing those as prompts in our tool.
And how, like, could you a bit explain like how actually we are doing that? Like, okay, we have keyword, how it becomes a prompt.
So basically, it's one of the things actually what you can do. The tool itself can actually make that whole system. I mean, if there's a keyword Claude rank tracker, it reads, it understands that that we want to have a commercial intent prompt, and it just redos the prompt to like best Claude rank tracker, that it would trigger a commercial intent from ChatGPT or from any other LLMs. So we're basically picking those prompts either ourselves if we're researching that for the client or the tool. So we're checking which of the prompts we want, and we are expecting that LLM would answer with a list of different brands. Because if we would track a prompt, what is AI search? So there is no chances. I mean, why should LLM would suggest AIclicks as a tool for what is AI search prompt? What we want, like what is the best AI search visibility tool, or what is the best ChatGPT rank tracker? Then AI LLMs are basically signaling that we need a list of answers, a list of brands. So we're basically going towards this commercial or even like transactional intent, because we can have as well like the buy keyword, purchase keyword as well. So we are going towards where there is most decision being made, in the prompt, and that prompt answer would answer with actually listed brands.
Okay, thank you. Makes total sense, at least for me. We also have lots of questions in the comments. I will try to go from the start. So Maciej,
Sure.
if I'm pronouncing her name correctly, asked, does AIclicks help you find relevant sites for mentions? Can we review this feature again? And identifying and evaluating those pages is a significant challenge for me. Also, evaluating the mention is postponed, partly due to the cost of mention calculations.
Okay, so so I will answer the first part. Does it help find us relevant sites for mentions? The answer is yes, because how we are on our own agency and within the tool that we're building, we are using those websites where AI is using as sources, and we want to appear there in those sources. We want to make an impact by simply appearing there, or by it basically becomes a backlink opportunity for us. So simply in the tool, if it's mentioned no, for us it's a backlink opportunity. Of course, if the page type is correct, like we are not expecting to have a backlink from a landing page, from a home page of a competitor, but if it's a listicle, if it's a like blog post, it automatically for us becomes a backlink opportunity. And this is what the tool can provide actually. And this is what we are doing with a lot of our clients and even with ourselves on AIclicks. And the second part of the question,
we refer to that. Because when I'm looking for the sources, first I need to make a decision which sources are attractive to me, which can bring me some results, and then when I've already done the promotion on those pages, I need to evaluate which of those activities were the most performing.
Yeah,
that's why I'm asking how can you solve that?
So the evaluation that we are doing is actually this is one of the things that we want to add as well. A very simple feature is the priority score. Let's call it like that. And the priority score, at least what we're doing with our clients, is we're taking into account how many prompts this URL is being mentioned in, how many topics it's being covered. Right now it shows 0, but that is a bug. How many topics does it cover, like from those prompts? Because we're like categorizing every single prompt in different topics. The more topics, the better, of course. And what is the frequency? That means how many times this particular URL was mentioned in a source. And all of this combination of those 3 metrics, we are saying that this is the highest priority that we want to start with. We don't want to start with zeros or with ones, because this isn't that high of a priority, and it cannot do that big of an impact. So by simply for us, even like we're doing it simply, if the highest frequency means the highest priority and the highest impact that we can do for LLM visibility, because this is the highest citable source from LLMs for our prompts that we are tracking.
So more or less, when I would have 5 pages where I got promoted in, I could just compare those results with the price of the pages, and then I will have the significant answer how effective was the promotion on a specific page.
Basically, yes. And you can even filter out those particular prompts that you want to impact, and check if when you completed those backlinks, when you are mentioned, did it had any impact actually from those selected prompts. So everything can be basically filtered out, because in this case, there are 128 prompts, and if there is a prompt that you are interested in increasing, you can select the particular prompt and just benchmark it from that day when you receive those list of backlinks, and whether or not it got you an impact from that activities.
Beautiful. So I can also compare it with the LinkedIn posts and different like Reddit, whatever.
Exactly, because all of this information is basically, it's just different page types, and all of this information is the same for every single source that we collect.
Great, thank you. Quite impressive.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have a lot of questions on social media engagement and Reddit in particular. So for all of you interested, I just want to notify that in the upcoming months, we will try to schedule at least one webinar on like various AI SEO topics. This one was more like a general one, but in our roadmap we also have one particular for Reddit optimization strategies and implementation. So we will have like in-depth coverage on this topic. But right now, Matas, could you just quickly share some nuggets on this topic as well? So one question is more like should you communicate as a person or a company when you engage in all of various communities? And another question is particular for Reddit. How many profiles did you use? And is are personal accounts enough?
Yeah, regarding social media, it depends on social media. For example, in Reddit is a very particular community of people. So they don't like promotions at all. So you would have to communicate as a person, not from the company. Like you can take the decision and communicate as a person from the company. This is a thing that other people are doing, but we are communicating as a third person, like as a happy customer that we will willing to share our experience, because actually this is what Reddit likes the most. But even now, like they're spotting this, but this is what works with Reddit. But for example, on LinkedIn, it's very like reasonable and okay to go with like as a company, as a person from the company. Like we ourselves are like commenting on different posts, and we it says on the profile that I'm a co-founder of AIclicks, and I'm saying, hey, you should try AIclicks because we are thinking that this is a right solution for you. So this particular social media is okay with communicating as a company, while Facebook might be not. So it depends on the peculiarities of that community itself, of the social media, because you have to understand how those people think actually. So yeah, and regarding that profile question, so we have, I think, about more than 100 actually Reddit profiles, and with different like proxy setups and like and then cookies. So this is quite a big pool that we're using. We're not using personal accounts. Me myself, I burned my personal account, which I'm really sad, but I did that already like 3 years ago when I was starting this Reddit initiative at Oxylabs at my previous company. So I don't have any my Reddit account anymore, sadly. So yeah, so don't try to use personal accounts. Build them up from the start, engage with them, warm them up, but because you can get banned, deleted really, really harshly and without any warnings.
Thank you. Kevin asked like more like technical question regarding our MCP server. So and the full roadmap of AIclicks. So I quickly answer it, and we'll go to following questions as well. So regarding MCP server, at the current stage, we don't have this in our plans, but I think in the upcoming 6 to 12 months, it will be live in AIclicks. More or less, right now we are focusing more on actual optimization and recommendation engine inside the tools. Moving on to a couple other questions.
Rokas, I would like to add maybe that to the question that our end goal of the tool itself is to have people and businesses that does not really or necessarily understand how AI SEO or SEO or GEO works, and by integrating MCPs, by integrating different agentic profiles, agentic work models, we can help actually users to interpret this data that is given from the tool and to provide the the next actions. Because we ourselves did this is what started AIclicks in general, because there were a lot of tools, but there were only like metrics and reporting. So what's next? What next you can do to make an impact? So we want to help people by providing the actionable steps on what can you do with those data, with that data collected. And MCP is actually one of the things that can help in the upcoming future. So that is actually in plans. Yeah.
Thank you. Just one quick question, or like more like summarizing points for those who just joined. if I'm like just starting out in this field, I just view this webinar, what would be like the actual 3 steps that you would recommend for a brand, who didn't do anything in SEO yet, just for summary?
Yeah, create a website. That's the first thing. Without a website, you cannot do anything. But of course, you have to, start your internal content production and make the presence, on your own website. Like, this is what we actually started as well. Like, we just wanted to make sure that we are like real users, real people behind that, because there are a lot of websites that are just has these placeholder landing pages without any information. So what is behind the product? What are their LinkedIn profiles, social media profiles? So make it as human as possible. Start providing content as well, but that's the internal part, which is basically you are controlling it. But from the external parts, so if you're capable of doing Reddit and engaging in those very relevant communities, that would be the number one thing I would say that I would concentrate on. But of course, getting those review profiles, getting those relevant mentions from other brands is what can make a difference, because you're ensuring trustworthiness and credibility, especially like with those reviews and etc. So I hope these are 3 things, or maybe more. I don't know.
Okay, and continuing that, I think one of the last questions regarding social media and Twitter. Do you have like any thoughts on Twitter X visibility?
Yeah, I know that this is actually the same logic can be applied to Twitter, but what we are seeing is it will majorly impact Grok, because Grok is Twitter basically. We haven't done any activities on Twitter. Honestly, I don't even know what is our citability, like from AIclicks, how Twitter is being cited. But knowing the logic that I've explained, that UGC content and engaging in comments, and if Twitter for you is in those citable sources, this is a signal for you to start engaging. I mean, for us, when I showed Quora, I couldn't find any numbers from our own tool that our prompts are being cited from Quora, because it isn't basically. So if that, but other brands, other industries can see much different numbers. And if you are seeing that there's a website that being mentioned as a source in your prompts, you should go for it if you can. In our case, Quora isn't that big of priority because it isn't citable in our sources. So Twitter, if it's a big source, go for it.